let's get the elephant out the room. I don't want to talk about this too long. I'm going to just talk briefly and let it go. We talking about Shedeur. We ain't talking about nobody else. But his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't have this covered. One of them is going to be one.
That's what I'm talking about.
One of them is going to be
speaking into existence.
And the latter one would not go behind 4. Now, all this is subjective because I know where I kind of want them to go. And let's not forget shallow, okay? But I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that ain't gonna happen.
Okay, you on point.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an Eli.
The Cleveland Browns just can't stop tripping over their own drama. Every time they get a glimpse of real stability, they somehow find a way to fumble it right at the goal line. And now, brace yourself, because Deion Sanders is crashing into the scene like a one-man storm, ready to snatch his son, Shedeur Sanders, right out of the madness and into a team that actually values him.
A couple teams that I won't allow him to play for.
Whoa.
This is my profession. I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it.
And if he doesn't listen to you?
Who? No, you must mean owners, like not my son.
Have you told him privately who you would like for him to play for?
It's not like who I would like for him to play for.
Is this shaping up to be the Browns' biggest mistake yet? Or a trade bomb that's about to shake the entire league? Either way, this story's got more heat than a locker room after a playoff loss. See, Deion isn't the type to sit back quietly while his son gets treated like a bench warmer. This is prime time we're talking about. The man who flipped Colorado from a forgotten underdog into the most talked about program in college football history, practically overnight. He brought flash, fire, and a whole new attitude to the game, and made Shedeur the face of a modern-day football revolution.
So let's be honest, guys. Shedeur Sanders is a hot commodity, so it makes sense on all these NFL insiders keep talking about trade talk. We're gonna break down all these receipts together, then I'm gonna give my synopsis. But yes, Shedeur Sanders is predicted now to a new situation that's been breaking NFL news. He's being predicted to be traded to a new NFC contender, daddy. So guys, this thing been circling around Shedeur non-stop, and I'm not gonna be fake with y'all. I'm waiting for the moment of realization, and really realize that Shedeur might possibly get a chance with a real NFL franchise that's really going to cater.
So if the Browns think they can run that same old disrespectful playbook and expect Deion to just nod and smile, they're dreaming. Prime doesn't play that game, and the league's about to find out the hard way. Just look at what Deion did out in Colorado. He strutted in wearing cowboy boots, shades, and that signature whistle around his neck. And boom, a forgotten football program instantly turned into must-see TV. The man didn't just rebuild a team, he built a whole movement. Through all the ups and downs, one thing stayed clear. Shedeur wasn't just a quarterback, he was the golden ticket. The dude was out there slinging passes like he was playing Madden on rookie mode, leaving defenders frozen like statues. Colorado wasn't even supposed to be in the conversation, but when your dad is Deion Primetime Sanders, football becomes theater. Every snap, every touchdown, it's not just a game, it's a show. Shedeur doesn't just lead an offense, he runs a brand, a spectacle, a highlight factory. ESPN can't stop replaying his throws, whether folks love it or hate it. That's the magic Prime built. Every moment feels like a headline waiting to happen. Now, compare that to the Browns, an organization that couldn't stay consistent even if you gave them a laminated binder labeled "How Not to Self-Destruct."
But we're built for this, man. He's been raised for this. When he gets on the next stage, he's not going to faint and melt up under scrutiny, on opposition and pressure. He's a Sanders, dog. He's built for this. Like, we've gone through this, and he knows the trials and tribulations that he has to get.
They treat quarterbacks the way people treat New Year's gym memberships, all hype for 3 weeks, then forgotten when things get tough. Deion knows better than to let his son step into that kind of chaos. He spent years molding Shedeur into a franchise-level star, not just another jersey number to be tossed aside. At Colorado, Deion runs everything. The narrative, the energy, even the music blasting through the locker room. And that's exactly how he likes it, with full control and zero nonsense. He's the ringleader of the show, and Shedeur is the main event. Together, they turned college football into a real-life Netflix saga. Drama, swagger, and highlight reels for days. But if Shedeur ever landed in Cleveland's hands, all that control Deion's built would vanish in seconds. Instead of calling the shots, he'd be stuck watching from the stands while his son becomes the next sad story in the Browns' endless quarterback misery chronicles. That's never happening. Deion would rather see Shedeur chill at home polishing his Heisman-worthy watches than let the Browns gamble with his future. Here's what people forget. Deion's loyalty isn't to the NFL, it's to Shedeur.
Shedeur has started every game in high school,
Right.
every game in college except one, and he's prepared for this next level and this journey that he's about to go. And I think he's the most equipped. He's had, Cam, you know, the 7 different offensive coordinators.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, a line that was always criticized and scrutinized, but he still stood and delivered. I think he's the best one for the job for any city, and he's the most equipped. Oftentimes, we draft these quarterbacks that's been on these elite teams. Now they get in a situation where it's not as conducive to their success, and they choke.
Colorado is his empire, his lab, his safe zone, where his son thrives under his watchful eye. The Browns can flash all the millions and roll out fancy press backdrops. But Prime doesn't care about glitter. He cares about respect. And from what he's seen, Cleveland's already fumbled that before the snap even starts. Respect isn't negotiated after a deal. It's demanded from day one. Picture this. Behind closed doors, Deion probably looks at Shedeur and says, "Why settle for Cleveland chaos when you already run the kingdom in Colorado?" In Boulder, Shedeur's a national name, pulling NIL cash and brand power most N.F.L. rookies only dream about. But in Cleveland, he'd inherit a broken O-line, a messy playbook, and fans who'll boo him by halftime if he's not throwing bombs. One path builds his legacy, the other risks destroying it.
One of the things I've chuckled about a little bit, all right? I don't want you to take this the wrong way.
Okay.
I'm shocked your kids didn't get your speed.
No.
I'm always like, how the hell
Mama
did that not happen?
They mama side.
That got
They
mama
mama
there.
side.
Okay.
And I'm not happy about that. It's they mama side. But yeah. But you know what? I don't think Shedeur would be the quarterback he is if he had that.
I hear you.
Because now he has to really use the intellect and the instinct and understanding of the game and to understand defenses and all that. So, and the thing about
Not worried about running and doing
the thing
that.
about this
Right.
kid, and I'm gonna give you some heat.
Yeah, cool.
How many quarterbacks going in this draft
Yeah.
have started every game in high school?
Right.
Every game in college but one has had.
And that's why this whole situation's ready to explode any second. The Browns can talk all they want about believing in Shedeur, but Deion's not buying it. He's proven before. He'll rebuild a roster overnight, cut anyone, flip everything, if it means protecting his son's future. So why would anyone think he'd just sit back and watch his son become another victim of Cleveland's never-ending rebuild curse? Let's get one thing straight. Deion lives for proving people wrong. Every time the world doubts him, he turns the whole narrative on its head. When critics said Colorado wouldn't win more than a couple of games, he flipped that into national headlines. When they said Shedeur was untested, he turned him into the must-watch quarterback in college football.
End of the day, Browns predicted to trade Colorado legend Shedeur Sanders to NFC contender to elevate ceilings originally appeared on the Shedeur Sanders project for the Cleveland Browns. Doesn't seem to be going according to plan. The Browns don't appear to have Sanders in their immediate plans for this season or even the next. Currently, he's serving as an emergency insurance quarterback, and during the training camp, he was sometimes throwing to staff members instead of players. Now, this is actually true. He wasn't getting proper reps. He wasn't being utilized for the stature of the player that he is.
Swagger, stats, and all eyes on him. So now, when the Browns act like they're doing Shedeur a favor, you can practically hear Deion laughing through those designer shades. In his mind, Shedeur isn't chasing the league. The league should be chasing him. Teams should be crawling, begging, and throwing everything on the table short of naming the stadium after him just to get a shot. If anything, that Cleveland disrespect is fuel for Prime. He'll spin it into motivation at Colorado, turning every press conference into a sermon about loyalty, respect, and how the NFL still doesn't know how to handle true greatness. And the cameras? Oh, they'll eat it up, because nobody turns drama into gold like primetime. The Browns might think they're playing chess, but Deion's out here playing three-dimensional poker with mirrored shades and a winning hand. And the longer this tension drags on, the worse Cleveland looks. Every single day, Shedeur stays in Colorado. His legend gets bigger. More highlights, more viral moments, more power behind Deion's message. Why trade all that for a franchise that can't even decide which quarterback jersey their fans should buy? Colorado doesn't even have to try. They're winning the PR war just by breathing.
He's done nothing wrong. So why are we having this conversation about his character? I'm going to tell you why. Because you got people hating on his daddy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And they want any excuse that they can come up with. And let me remind America why Deion Sanders, we gonna say this. This is why Deion Sanders is hated by some people. Because he was the greatest. And he told you so. And then went out there and showed you show. And you were helpless to do anything.
Meanwhile, the Browns, they're losing by doing what they do best, being the Browns. At the end of the day, this isn't just football. It's about image, legacy, and the Sanders brand. Deion's not risking everything he's built just to let Shedeur become another Cleveland cautionary tale. He'll keep rewriting history in Colorado until the right team comes calling, the one smart enough to realize they're not signing a player, they're investing in a dynasty. And when that day comes, Cleveland will be left staring at their playbook, wondering how they managed to drop the easiest win of their lives. Here's the cold truth. If the Browns really wanted Shedeur, they would have treated him like the franchise savior from day one. Instead, they hesitated, they disrespected, and they reminded Deion exactly why he never wanted his son caught up in that kind of mess in the first place. And once Prime decides you failed the respect test, that's it. It's game over. Colorado will always be home turf for Deion. He'll keep stacking wins, building his empire, and shaping his own football kingdom while the N.F.L. eventually comes knocking. Meanwhile, the Browns, they'll just keep being the Browns, stuck in the same loop, searching for magic that never comes.
College football in the pros, and we don't play without pads on and tackling. So until I see live game action, I'm going to reserve I think my guy can play. I've said it a million times. I want to see if Gabriel can play like that too. That's all. I just want to.
Well, turn on the Ohio State game and see if you can play.
Tony, they're not playing Ohio State. They're playing the Bengals in Week 1.
Yeah, they're not playing Baylor either or Colorado State.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean,
you're
yeah,
basing your opinion on what Shedeur did at Colorado, where he's 13-11 as a starter, and he went to the Alamo Bowl.
There were a lot of great college players, Tony. Doesn't mean they're going to play well in the pros. We'll have to wait and
but
see.
You think Shedeur's going to play well in the pros?
And I don't know. I don't know if he is. I think he is.
But here's where things get wild. Imagine Shedeur stepping onto an N.F.L. field with his dad as head coach. Just think about how crazy that would be. Every other quarterback's got to juggle coordinators, coaches, and GMs who treat them like replaceable chess pieces. But Shedeur, he'd walk into a setup where the man calling the plays is the same one who raised him, coached him, and turned him into a star since high school. That's not just an edge, it's a cheat code. You can't tell me Shedeur wouldn't shine brighter, play freer, and grow faster under Deion's leadership than he ever could in Cleveland's chaos. The Browns treat quarterbacks like seasonal hires. Use them for a bit, then move on when things get rough. But under Deion, Shedeur isn't a placeholder. He's the blueprint. The whole offense would be designed around him. Every play tailored to his strengths. Every teammate locked in on making sure he thrives. And the confidence off the charts.
I have a question for the chat, and Uncle Joe, I'm not sure if y'all know, how long has Jimmy Haslam been with the Cleveland Browns?
A long ass time.
A long time. So since 2000, the Cleveland Browns have had 35 different starting quarterbacks. Since 2000, 35 different starting quarterbacks. But now you're going to take it upon yourself to say that Shedeur Sanders wasn't your pick. And that's probably why it's going to work. Because you had no dealings in him being drafted. Watch how God work. Watch how God work.
What about all them other picks you had? Who picked with they?
His. But he never came out before and said this.
Never.
Instead of sitting through those earn your spot speeches from coordinators, Shedeur would walk into that building already knowing he's the guy, period. No debates, no quarterback carousel, no desperate panic moves. Under Deion, Shedeur would finally get something the Browns haven't managed to figure out in over 20 years: consistency. And that's the secret sauce that turns a good quarterback into a straight-up legend. Deion's already proven he knows how to bring out the best in Shedeur at Colorado. He didn't shove him into some outdated system or try to change who he is. He built the entire show around his son's strengths. The arm, the timing, the precision, the poise. It's all tailor-made for Shedeur's style. Meanwhile, Cleveland's strategy has been a mess for decades. Throw the quarterback in, cross your fingers, and panic when it falls apart.
I just can't wait to see what comes to pass on the field. A couple quarterbacks are fighting for who's going to be who. We don't know. No one's getting a nod right now. We're testing both of them and see how they react to what Pat is throwing at them, and they're doing a phenomenal job in leadership. You got to understand the offensive line and some of the guys that are still here is used to a certain type of leader, and these guys, we want them. The standard is the standard. We're not going to shy away from the standard at receiver, at quarterback, or wherever.
How could anyone argue Shedeur deserves to deal with that? He's earned more, and Deion knows it. Now imagine the sideline vibes. Other teams are stressing about blown assignments and missed signals, while Shedeur just looks over and sees Deion, cool as ever, shades on, giving him a signal only he understands. That's not just coaching. That's a father-son telepathic link no defensive coordinator can break. And let's be real, Deion Sanders doesn't do average. He doesn't settle for good enough. He doesn't let anyone overlook his people. And when he's the head coach, his son doesn't ride the bench, doesn't play second fiddle, and sure doesn't get treated like some backup plan. Shedeur would be the centerpiece, the headline act, the name on every banner, the player whose jersey every kid in the stands is begging their parents to buy. Now compare that to Cleveland, where quarterbacks are treated like rental cars, driven hard, overused, and tossed aside the moment the mileage gets too high. It's almost disrespectful to even suggest Shedeur should settle for that kind of setup. And don't even get me started on game time. In Cleveland, you could have Hall of Fame level talent, but if the O-line collapses or the coaches start panicking, your minutes disappear fast. And suddenly, you're stamped with that dreaded inconsistent label. That's how they bury careers over there. But under Deion, Shedeur gets everything. The snaps, the trust, the time to grow into the star he's meant to be. The Browns can't even hold on to stability, let alone give real respect. And that right there is what this whole thing comes down to, respect. We've seen it too many times. Teams swearing they believe in a young quarterback, only to flip the script and throw him under the bus the second things get rocky.
I think it's an opportunity to evaluate these two young men and figure out who's going away and who's staying. And last week, Shedeur was up first. If he didn't play well, he might have gotten traded somewhere. But he played well. And you knew Dillon Gabriel wasn't coming in because he was hurt. Now, Shedeur's hurt, so we know he's not coming in, and Dillon Gabriel is going to get 3 quarters like Shedeur did. However, I think that he's going to get traded anyway, and this performance is just setting him up to say, hey, the kid can play, you got some film on him, who's the highest bidder? I think Shedeur comes out of this QB2 no matter what.
That's Cleveland's whole routine. And Shedeur doesn't deserve to be the next victim of that tired cycle. He shouldn't have to face a fan base that measures disappointment by how many jerseys they've burned. He doesn't need to be another what could have been in the Browns' endless quarterback graveyard. Shedeur's story deserves better than that, and Deion's making sure he gets it. Now imagine Shedeur under Deion's wing. The endless room to grow, the freedom to mess up and bounce back, the real investment in his future. It wouldn't just be about surviving one game at a time. It'd be about building a career, a legacy, something that lasts way beyond a single season. Deion knows exactly how to handle his son, how to hype him up when the spotlight's bright, how to protect him when it gets dark, and how to push him just enough to bring out greatness. He's not just a coach. He's a mentor who cares just as much about the name on the back of that jersey as the one on the front. Now put that next to Cleveland's offer. What are they really bringing to the table? A franchise that disrespected Shedeur before the ink even dried on his name. A team with a record of fumbling every star they've had and an atmosphere where the pressure doesn't lift players up, it burns them out. That's not a career move, that's a warning sign. It's wild anyone thinks Shedeur should be hyped about joining that. Under Deion, every practice feels like prep for greatness. It's not just drills and plays, It's belief, respect, and energy that fuels real success. Cleveland, they drain that energy. They suck the excitement out of every room they walk into. They turn quarterbacks with potential into shadows of themselves. And someone like Shedeur, he's built to shine, not fade. Honestly, the Browns' disrespect just makes Deion's case stronger than ever. Why would Deion even think about letting his son deal with that Cleveland chaos? When you've got a formula that's proven to work, you don't trade it for dysfunction. No matter how shiny that NFL logo looks, respect matters more than branding, and Shedeur deserves exactly that, respect. He deserves to step onto a field knowing his team believes in him completely. Not halfway, not temporarily, and definitely not until the next quarterback comes along. That's why this whole scenario's got everyone buzzing, because deep down, people know it's true. Shedeur under his dad's coaching wouldn't just be good, it'd be unstoppable. That's why staying in Colorado under Deion's watch feels so right. It's not just about family, it's about legacy. It's about building something real, something solid, something that doesn't fall apart the second the pressure hits. Shedeur deserves way more than being another sad chapter in Cleveland's never-ending quarterback saga. He deserves the stage, the spotlight, and the kind of unwavering support that only his father's ever given him. So let the Browns spin their little narratives. Let them act like they're in control. It doesn't change the truth. The dynasty's already being built in Colorado, and Prime's not letting anyone mess with that future. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe channel, because this story's only getting louder from here.